Welcome to Digital Nation, your weekly showcase of the best of local TV. This week we provide a roundup of the stories that spoke to us in 2015. From Swans in Glasgow to cats and dogs in Edinburgh and Leeds. We travel the nation to bring you festive food, cute little animals, and there's also scientific explorations and sporting achievements. So sit back and take note of the animal-loving, foodie, scientific and sporty fellow dwellers of this united land. First off, we travel to Glasgow, Liverpool, Edinburgh and Leeds to meet our winged and four-legged friends. Swans are a majestic breed and Hoganfield Lock is the place to meet them. We revisit the caring Liverpool vet who saved a turtle's sight. And Digital Nation wouldn't be Digital Nation without a few cats and dogs making a scene.
This is Hoganfield Loch. This is a local nature reserve in Glasgow, and it's the second best site for urban wildlife in the whole of the UK, right smack bang in the middle of Glasgow. There's been over 125 different species of birds recorded in the park here. We catch the birds to ring them to monitor their population, find out where they're travelling to, how long they're living for, and a few other factors included in there as well.
We'll put a ring on this bird, we'll put it back and it'll be up feeding within a couple of minutes. This is about the only place where you can get remotely close to birds like the whooper swan and the goosander and some of these other unusual ducks that turn up here from time to time. So we can read the ring numbers and we can follow them over the years.
Cheerio, Mr. Mad. Oh, there you go, look.
This is a tiny little musk turtle that was brought in by an owner because there's a problem with the eye. Right eye's fine, left eye's abnormal. The eye, we can't leave the eye. There's matter stuck under the eyelids and it's causing a lot of irritation. And if we don't do something about this, it's going to go blind, and there's a lot of discomfort. We need to do something. We just can't leave this alone. We'll recover from the anaesthetic. We're moving around brightly, happily. No ill effects from the anaesthetic. I'm just going to pop him back.
We're the first cat cafe in Scotland, so it's really exciting, you know. Hello and welcome to Maison du Moggy.
I think it's amazing. I think it's incredible that you can come somewhere and have some nice cake and a coffee and just be surrounded by the most beautiful creatures in the world. I would definitely come back here again. The cats are just absolutely beautiful. They're so well behaved and they're so interested in people. I just think it's just been a beautiful experience for me.
There's 22 kennel spaces in this so-called luxury dog rescue centre towards Wakefield, and 35 permanent residents means there's 140 legs waiting for a walk-in. Getting around to keeping even the loudest of these residents happy and well exercised can be a challenge. Or at least it was. Enter the Phantom 3 Pro, or as it's affectionately known, the dog walker. Capable of 1,600 feet with safety off and a descent of 5 metres per second, it's an impressive machine, but also an obsession for many of the dogs at the Whitehall Rescue Centre. With safety checks made, the drone can take flight in a cordoned-off area. It's hooked up to 2 satellites, so if it gets lost, a simple press of a button means it can find its way home with ease. Sound barking mad? It's about to be. checked and the dogs raring to go though, it's ditch the lead and take to the skies.
Wait. Go!
This is Canine Aqua Sports. This is one of the fastest growing sports in the UK at the moment, and there are about 50,000 teams competing worldwide under about 8 different organisations.
This is Twiglet. He's called Twiglet because we found him in the woods in our village where he'd been living feral for at least 10 months. Different organisations have been out to try and catch him without success, and eventually, after 2 weeks of perseverance, we caught him. We'd put him on the Dog Lost website, we'd tried everything, and we notified everybody that we'd got him, took him to the vet. There was no microchip, unfortunately. So with the dog warden's permission, we kept him for 28 days and then did the paperwork to adopt him. Having been not very well socialised in his young feral life, came to live with 2 Labradors who do this, and I don't think he knows any different. They jump into the lake every walk, and Twiglet does the same, and it's really good for him to have some way of unleashing his energy. So it keeps him fit. You know, they swim every day and strong, and they really love it.
This sport is growing in the UK. So far we've done 10 events in 2015. We have about another 5 to go for this year. We are increasing it, and we're just about to start opening up our training centres around the UK, hopefully for 2016.
Next, we head over to Belfast, Lancashire and Brighton via Edinburgh and Bollywood, with even a trip to Sicily involved. Intrigued? Well, food on local TV is as international as our palates. So let's meet the chefs and learn how to make potato farls, guess the secret recipe of deep-fried milkshake, and get tempted by marzipan treats in Sicily.
People can see this is like a normal business, like any coffee shop or sort of thing, but it's not. Because my intention is not about to sell the food or sell the coffee or a drink, but it's all about having fun, knowing people and connecting people. My most popular dish is me. People especially come to have chat with me, blather with me, and a perk is like, you know, the extra you can have is, you know, my curries, my pakoras, samosas, lovely spicy chai. But yeah, it's kind of very popular among people, like a lot like chicken curry, or you can have a mixed veg dal or chickpeas, palak paneer, that kind of thing. But pakora is always like, and a samosa, yes. So that's me.
I've been making potato bread since I first started baking at the age of 16. The history of potato bread is pre-famine years, say 1845 and before, and dating back further and beyond. The word farl is sort of an Ulster Scots word for quarter or for 4. So when the dough was pinned out, it is then cut into 4. So the word farl means 4 or 4th. I think it's so entrenched in our food culture and in our food history here. You know, it's still a huge demand for potato bread, and it's still one of the most popular variety of bread here, because it has a lovely wee crusty surface when it's toasted, but inside you have that potatoey texture where it's soft and gooey and nice and bubbly and hot and warm, and then with the butter, as the butter runs off it and runs down your chin, it's just like nothing else.
Fish and chips, sausage and chips, curry sauce. These are all things you usually associate buying from a chippy shop. However, could the deep-fried milkshake be the next craze hitting our chippies in the future? The unique concoction is the latest invention of the world-renowned Mr. Eater's chippy in Ribbleton.
We've been creating it for about 2 months now. It took me maybe about 6 weeks to get it right. We had a few mishaps, obviously, but now we've finally got it right, and we're selling lots of it.
The deep-fried milkshake includes all the classic milkshake flavours, including banana, strawberry and chocolate.
They're just starting to get popular now. It took me a week or two just to get them going. But the main thing is when people, we tell people about them, is like, you know, how on earth you manage to keep it together? Well, that's my own creation, that's my secret.
Love it or hate it, the deep-fried milkshake is certainly another proud dish to add to John's extensively unique collection.
Life is sweet here at Pasticceria Russo, and my new best friend makes the best cannolo in the whole of Sicily. I'm going to send Seb out into the kitchen to find out what they're doing out there, and I'm going to sneak off and actually have something to eat.
Cactus fruit, otherwise known as the prickly pear.
That's slightly misleading, Seb, because those cactus fruit, the prickly pears and these sea urchins are actually made of sugar and marzipan. And beautiful local arancini filled with ragu, and this strange conical shape, which they explain is to make it easier for ladies to eat without disturbing their makeup.
Wow, it's just unbelievable.
Da Russo, la vita è dolce.
Well, as Anna said, life here in Sicily really is sweet.
That brings us to the end of part 1. But before the break, it's quiz time. The world's first gasworks opened in which city in 1812? Is it A, Glasgow, B, Liverpool, or C, London? Join us in part 2 for the answer. Welcome back to Digital Nation. Before the break, we asked you, the world's first gasworks opened in which city in 1812? And the answer is C, London. The London and Westminster Gas, Light and Coke Company supplied gas throughout Westminster and by 1815 had 200 miles of piping in place. And now to Cambridge, Liverpool, Sheffield and Brighton for some local sites of scientific wonder. Cake Energy is the new fuel, says John London of Cambridge Science Centre. Liverpool's Bay TV look to the stars. Virtual reality is the new reality, and the i360 is Brighton's newest tower.
Would you say it's wise to add one of Fitzbilly's Chelsea buns to this? This is nitrous oxide, a chemical compound used to launch rockets. The idea to combine the two comes from John London of the Cambridge Science Centre. He's promoting the centre's new Cosmic exhibition, which is showcasing humanity's attempts to explore the universe.
So, here we have the fuel grain that's come off of the rocket. It's actually still really warm at this end. You can see we melted the nozzle, the rocket nozzle. What we do is we introduce nitrous oxide into here through a hole down the middle. It burns with the buns are inside, and it burns from the inside to the outside. You've got your fuel, you've got your oxidizer. That creates lots and lots of gas, which shoots out of the rocket.
Get that really going. Oh, quite a few sparks going there. Yeah, so you could do a countdown for him if he seems ready to go.
We're here in the World Museum in Liverpool for Destination Space, a brand new exhibition aiming to equip children with everything they need to be Britain's next top astronaut.
It was really cool because you can just it's like a robot kind of, just way cooler. We'd have to memorise which controls which, so I don't think I'd be able to do that.
What did you think of the meteorite?
It was really, really heavy for such a small thing. Because you just think it's going to be a normal thing, and then you're like, ah.
Would you like to go into space at all?
I I'd like to for some of it because I love the picture up there, so I'd really want to see that. But then it'd be quite scary as well, knowing that Earth's like so far down.
In Sightgo at the moment, we've got a show called the Virtual Reality Arcade, and there are many different artists and producers looking at the future of virtual reality, particularly in documentary filmmaking, but also in sort of multimedia installations. I've created Oscillate as an art installation. I'm looking at the connection between the visual input that I can get from VR goggles and actually then the physical, the very sort of visceral experience of being on a swing. If you sit on it for a period of time, you get a representation of the room, and very slowly your swinging in the virtual world starts to become amplified, and you feel like you're swinging out the roof, and then you realise that actually the room you're in is in outer space. When people go on the swing, get all sorts of responses, from kind of a quiet kind of astonishment, but I like the screamers. And the ones who laugh and scream are the ones who are important to me, because actually VR is often thought of as a very solitary experience. I'm interested in turning it into a spectator experience. So to entertain the audience is really crucial to this work.
Fantastic. I mean, it's a very proud day, I think, for the entire team today to see, you know, what we've all been working on for, well, up 10 years now, and it's remarkable, and it's gone up in only 10 weeks.
Brighton's an iconic place, and this just adds one more element to Brighton, and it brings us neatly into the 21st century.
And finally, let's take a trip to Nottingham, Norwich, Glasgow and Sheffield to get sporty. We'll revisit the Deaf Water Skiing Club in Norwich, the Nottingham This Girl Can campaign, futuristic flyboarding in Glasgow, a roller derby in Sheffield, and one of the brightest stars of Digital Nation, Norwich's fencing grandmother.
Clipped in and ready to water ski. But for these children, the chance to get on the lake comes with an extra challenge, as many of them are either hearing impaired or completely deaf. They're disabilities that make water sports tough, but thanks to the Bluebird Deaf Water Ski Club, not impossible. This year, the club celebrated its 50th anniversary, and it's the only one of its kind in the UK.
I enjoyed it because it was fun, and I was trying to do my best to get up on my skis, and I like to see my family, you know, do really well. I feel really proud that my family have achieved water skiing as well. I can take part in the sport here and also show other people that you can do these things, you know, and be part of this community here.
I went with a group of friends to Zumba. There was 4 of us on a little road trip in the car, and I remember walking in, my head was quite low, my body language was quite closed, and I just walked in and I thought, I really hope nobody speaks to me. I just looked around, there was a room full of so many different types of women, lots of women of different ages, different abilities, and I remember I got home. And I'll never forget, I was just literally, I was buzzing that much. I was just bouncing off the walls. I'd fallen in love with Zumba. It was almost like it gave me a license to be me again.
Flyboarding is a new sport that was started a couple of years ago, and what it does, we take a standard jet ski, as you can see here, we take off the steering from the back of it, and so we replace it with a tube, and at the other end of the tube we have a board with a pair of shoes and the jet's out of here. So what was propelling a jet ski along at 75 miles an hour is now propelling you up in the air. It is an exhilarating sport. It is something new, something novel. People who've done board sports or jet skis, you know, they're looking for something new to try. And this is what's come along. It allows you to do all manner of tricks. It allows you to experience motions that you've never had before. And it's actually incredibly intuitive to stand up. So it only takes people about 5 minutes to get their first chance of trying and flying.
Roller derby is a sport played on quad roller skates, and it's a game of points and passing, which is kind of like a combination of speed skating and British bulldog. So you have like contact levels of rugby, so people kind of bash into each other with shoulders and hips and try and get past and win points. So it's quite complicated as a game to play, but it does mean that it's hugely fun to play and it's really, really good fun to watch.
When you go and watch a roller derby match, there's no typical body shape. There are different types of women from all across the board. We've got teachers, doctors, mums, tiny people, tall people, wide people, narrow people, and it really doesn't matter. There's a place for everybody in roller derby, and it's the first time that I'd watched a sport and really seen that, so I thought I could actually get involved.
She's got the shoulders for it.
I needed to find something to do to keep me active, and I saw that Norwich City Council were running a come and try. We supply all the gear and see what you'd like to do. So I went along to Duke Street and I thought I'll try archery and I'll have a go at fencing and I'll see what I like doing. I found fencing was fantastic. I liked that the best and I could do it easy. So I've stuck with the fencing ever since.
Connie competes in the Veteran World Championships in both solo and team events using the épée and the sabre. The competitions have taken her round the world, from America to Italy to South Africa.
At this age, I didn't expect to be doing it. Every year I think that'll be the last. Every year I tell myself that's going to be the last. But then I come back with a medal and I think, well, perhaps just once more. So I don't know how many once mores there got to be, but there might be some.
He's one of the greatest Paralympians in British swimming history, with gold medals and even an MBE to his name. But today, Ollie Hine took time out of his busy training schedule to talk to children with autism about how he made it to the top.
It's awesome that these guys are interested in sport and interested in swimming, because it's given me so much in my life, and hopefully they can gain things from being involved in sport as well. Hopefully some of the advice that I've given them and some of the answers to the questions that they can take forward and apply to their own lives and what they want to do in the future. So I mean that's what sport's about. It's all about the legacy and the legacy of London 2012 and inspiring the next generation to get involved.
And that completes our annual roundup of the best of local. And if our stories have inspired you to scientific, cooking or sporting endeavour, then don't forget there's more to see on each of the local TV channels' websites. Or why not catch up on previous episodes of the show by visiting bbc.co.uk/Digital Nation. Until next week, goodbye.